We're going to start with the slap. 1, 2, 3. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Soft Elbows. I'm Steve Yonda. Our lovely co-host is Abby Richards. Abby is coming to you live from the guest room in Emma Hoffman's house down in Virginia Beach. How are things going down there, Abigail?
They are great. Emma's actually on the floor, like directly below me, so she sends her best.
Okay. You're down there. This is going to post on Tuesday, so just in retrospect, everyone go wish Emma a happy birthday. It is happening the day after we record this, but 2 days before you're seeing this. If you see it on Tuesday, I imagine everyone sees it on Tuesday. Why would you wait until Wednesday or later to watch this episode? You know what I'm saying, Abby?
Yep, I agree.
Great insight. Okay. Later today, how about later in this show, you guys are going to see an interview that I did with Pedro Meloni, who is USA Weightlifting's Director of Events and Sponsorship. Pedro talked about kind of what goes into deciding where national meets are held. He goes into some of the logistics of why it's not as easy as I would like it to be for him to last minute just change the whole thing around. I guess it's not just like you snap your fingers and things evaporate or materialize. I don't understand. I feel like he should just try harder. Is that not? No, that's a Pedro. It's a joke. I love you. You did great on the interview. And honestly, he provided a lot of good insight. There's a lot of good reasons why they do the things the way they do them. It's almost as if they've done this before. But he did. I don't want to spoil anything. He did say that perhaps he did not commit to this, but he did say he was not wholly opposed to sometime in the future having senior nationals be a 2-day 3-platform meet, which potentially could mean that the folks in the heavier weight classes lift on Saturday, not Sunday, and therefore in front of an actual audience and not the cleanup crews who are just, doing the Zamboni thing in the background. So they don't do for anyone who's never been to nationals, there's no Zamboni. It's one of the biggest disappointments of nationals.
It is
Abby,
a big
thoughts?
disappointment. I think we should have a Zamboni for WSO.
Great. Which of the committee members is licensed to drive one of those things?
Probably John Weeks. I feel like of all the people to have that
Yeah.
as a secret talent, it's probably John.
Yeah. Or Heather Kraus. I could see that being like a
Yeah,
hidden
hidden
skill that
talent.
she had
Yeah,
like
I
like
agree.
20 years
Zamboni
ago
extraordinaire.
when she was
Yeah.
a teenager. She had as a summer job, she was like driving the Zamboni around, at
Yeah.
the ice rink at wherever she grew up. Do you know where Heather grew up?
I don't. I don't.
Yikes.
Yeah. I only know where you grew up, and that was Kansas City.
Which one? Choose correctly.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Wait.
This is such quality production here. I hope you don't edit out a single second of you thinking about this.
Yeah, I know. But I know we've talked about this before,
So many
and my
times.
heart says, huh?
So many times.
So many times. And my heart says Missouri.
Your heart is correct. Your heart, at least in this respect, never leads you astray. In other realms, perhaps I don't want to judge.
Damn, roasted.
All right, back to things you all actually care about. We have some announcements regarding WSO championships. First and foremost, Abby, how much do you love when people reach out to you and you're like, hey girl, can you slide me off that wait list? How's that work? I assume that's what people do. No?
More or less, yeah, everyone's like, oh, but for me. Well, all right. I don't love it. I don't
Oh,
love
you
it.
don't love it. Got it. Okay,
I'm
so we should
excited
stop.
that everyone is excited. I'm not excited that everyone thinks that I'm corrupt enough to just pick and choose people off of the wait list off of my own volition. But I
But
am excited that everyone's excited.
does it help? Like, will it be like extra convincing if we DM your private account? Like your
Absolutely
personal
does
account?
not.
That
We are
doesn't.
not.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, but we're not friends like that, guys. We're not.
Okay. But what if? But like, what if we are? Like, can you get me off the wait list? That's what I'm asking. This is a big, like,
Steve,
long wind up. Like, can you get me off the wait list?
Steve, no. If mostly because you and I had a bet that it would sell out. So you not being on the wait list or you being on the wait list and not on the start list, that's on your own ego,
Yeah,
buddy.
it was out of spite. Yeah,
It was
no.
out of spite.
Um, all right. So please, folks, please understand. We love how interested everybody is in the event. It's going to be a great event this year. It's going to be a great event next year, and maybe next year you sign up a little bit sooner. But we do expect that there will be some movement off the wait list between now and when the meet happens. Here's how we're going to break this down. And Brian Leung, the committee president, he sent an email to everybody, I believe all of our members, not just the ones who signed up for this meet, but all of our members, explaining how this is going to work. So we're trying to do two things. One, we're trying to have the sessions as even as we can get them, right? So we don't if the next person on the wait list is in, this is just a hypothetical. I don't actually know how the breakdown goes, but let's hypothetically, the next person on the wait list is 71 kilo male lifter, and we've already got 15 71 kilo male lifters. That session is full. We're not going to add a 16th just because the next person on the wait list is 71 kilo male weightlifter. Sorry if that is the case. I don't know what to tell you. But if there's 15 people in the 71 kilo men's category, but only 10 in the 79 kilo male category, we will go to the second or the third or the seventh person on the wait list, whoever that first person is in the weight class that we most need to fill to even out the thing, to try to have as even a weight classes as possible. Even of sessions as possible. Overall, that helps us run a more efficient meet. That helps everything run on time. If we don't have, some sessions, if we got, 19 people in a session, that session is going to take forever. Conversely, if we have 7 people in a session, it's going to get done super quick, and then we're just going to have a bunch of time where we all sit around and stare at each other until the next session starts. So we're trying to make these things as even as possible, and that's why even if you're the next person on the list, on the wait list, you may not be the next person pulled from the wait list. Hopefully you can understand. But within the weight classes that we do need to fill, whatever those weight classes might be, and I'm not playing stupid, I genuinely don't know. We will, in those cases, in those instances, pull in the order in which you went on the wait list. So if you're waiting to join the wait list, please don't sign up now. You will only increase your odds of getting off the wait list if you sign up sooner rather than later. And if you don't get off the wait list this year, that's okay. You can still come up and volunteer. You can still come up and just watch and have a good time. I'm not giving up on this dream of mine to have a rope pulling contest in the parking lot with Eva Katsaros. I don't care. I'm going to promise it. People are going to show up. They're going to expect to have a rope pulling contest. She better be there, and there better be a rope. And we're just going to have this out,
That's great. Great
Wow.
idea.
You are full of lots of thoughts today, Abby.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So another thing that we are excited about is WSO merchandise. They didn't, and I can't believe this, they didn't go with my idea of recreating the DMV WSO Last Supper t-shirt. I don't know why that wasn't such in my head, that's hilarious, with Jake Rowell in the center and then a bunch of notable DMV characters, weightlifting characters to each side. I guess, I don't know, it probably offended any number of people, but we will have, this is serious, we will have, we do in fact, is live now, WSO merchandise. Abby's going to post a link where all of the places now where you can find this podcast. She's going to have a link in that thing. She's also going to do some independent posting, I understand. Is that correct, Abby, regarding the merchandise?
I'm doing what now?
You said you were going to make a post about the advertising the merchandise. The people want to buy the...
Yeah, on the DMV page. I have to do that. And I keep forgetting, so I'm so sorry. But yeah, there will be a link on the Instagram. I think, are we going to have our website updated, Steve? Do you know?
Yeah.
Feels like a good spot to put it. And yeah, there will be a link in our YouTube bio. I will figure out how to put a link in the Spotify bio.
Oh, yeah.
But mostly go to the Instagram bio. That's probably the one that will be updated first.
Definitely check the Instagram bio. But I do love when we commit ourselves on this show to things we have no idea whether we can do it or how to do it. And then we just have to figure it out.
We're just going to try our best.
We're,
We're just gonna
we
try
are
our
going to
best.
try our best. In fact, trying our best is a topic that we're going to discuss here in a few minutes. But before we do that, you
Wait,
got,
also, Steve, should we tell the people? Should we tell the people about the goofy little bit that we did with the Instagram where
hold on, hold
maybe the
on, hold on, hold
profile
on,
picture
hold on.
changed?
I want
What? Okay.
let's stay on topic of the WSOs, and then we'll get to that. I do want to get to
Okay.
that.
All right. Great.
You
Great.
had something
I'll edit
exciting that
that
you
out.
wanted to announce regarding the WSO championships. What will people be allowed to do that they couldn't do last year? This was your chance.
I have no idea what you're
The walkout
implying.
music. The walkout music.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Remember
So
the idea that you had that you were so excited to talk about when we were planning this show?
this is literally my idea. This is worse than when you stole my idea about the gambling the
Now that
last.
comes next year. A year from now, we're gonna have a show, and I'm gonna say, guys, remember when I had that idea about the walkout music? And I'm gonna take full credit for it. But we're not there yet. That's next year. Go ahead, tell them.
Okay, great. Um, so anyway, one of the pieces of feedback that I get most often from people, like since I've put my foot into announcing, dipped my toe into announcing. What is that? That's the term. Dipped your toe into it.
You stuck your whole foot in there. Go on, keep going.
Well,
Really,
now I'm waist deep, so
you really stepped in it. So
I'm doing amazing. Um, One of the pieces of feedback I get most often about how we can make weightlifting competitions more exciting is the idea of walkout music. And so, for those of you who live under a rock and have never experienced a baseball game, when the batter comes out to take his attempt, wait, at bat attempt?
his attempt at bat, that is correct. You're doing great.
Okay, great. Um, there's a song that's playing, and like there's baseball players where that's their song. The what's that song that comes on in Baltimore that people know about? You
That
know what I'm
song
talking
that comes on in Baltimore that people know about.
about? Like, no, this player is like very well known for his walkout song,
So well known that it's on the
escaping
tip of your
both of
tongue.
us.
Well, I'm not a
Yeah,
Baltimore Royals fan. I have no idea what their song. I don't know.
that's right. You're a Royals fan.
That's
Kansas
right, because
City.
I'm from
Okay.
Kansas City, Missouri. We're back. We
Yeah,
did it. Great.
yeah, we're back full circle. Anyway, walkout music. I was talking to Scott, who does like all of the technology at the weightlifting competitions, and like if you guys have been to a weightlifting competition in the area, you've probably met Scott or you've seen him bopping around. He's a really really great dude, and he really cares about the growth of the sport and making it just a better production, which I appreciate a lot. And so I was talking to him about like Scott, if we were to do walkout music, like how would that look? Like, could we do a button? Like, could we preload these songs and have them attached to like lifters in the system? And he was like, let me get back to you on that. And Scott messaged me earlier this week and was like, I did it. I built you the thing that we talked about. And it was a button that said walkout. And he said that
Wait, hold on. When you
huh.
saw that button and it said walkout, did you just stare at it like, whose idea was this? Oh, yeah, no, this was my idea. Okay, all
It's
right,
not
cool,
that
cool, cool,
year,
cool.
Steve. No, I forgot that I had that conversation with him though.
Right,
Most
that's my.
most things, but no, I recognized it immediately. But I'd forgotten that we had had that conversation that he was going to
Yeah,
work on it.
no, it's like a trend.
What? Me forget it?
It's like co-hosting a podcast with a goldfish.
I mean, but that's pretty normal. That's pretty normal for
Okay.
me. I'm very forgetful. That's why our text message thread looks like nonsense words followed by thanks all the time. What was the one I sent you today? That was pretty funny.
The one you sent me today.
Yeah, pull that up for
Hold
me.
on. The
Okay.
one you sent me today.
Oh, I know what I sent you today.
My spaghetti vine dropped knee wrap meme. And then a follow-up text. Thanks. I don't even respond to them anymore. Like I don't what am I supposed to say to that?
You don't say anything. It's not there. I don't do that so that you acknowledge and give me attention. I put that there because I generally text you multiple times a week, and so it's probably gonna be so like I know to look like it reminds me. Oh, my spaghetti. I'm gonna do that.
I do laugh every time I get one because I genuinely wonder if you actually remember to go back and check the thread, because
I
there have
do.
been so many times when you have texted me an idea and I never see it again. It doesn't appear on the Big Friday meme carousel. It doesn't like it just
Yeah.
like this was
That's
just
because I
a
couldn't
fleeting thought
execute.
passing through
What
your
ha
mind.
Yeah. Well, what happens is, like, I have these ideas and they're hilarious, but, like, there's only like, there is limited content for me to, like, pull and, my skills are very limited when it comes to photoshopping and video editing, so, sometimes it's just a little harder to execute than I would like it to be, and so those
Sure.
ideas just I kinda hope you forget about them.
No worries on that front. No
Anyway,
worries.
we went down a rabbit hole, but back to walkout songs.
Hmm.
See, look, I remembered.
So
Um,
proud of you.
so I don't know how this is going to look yet. But what's going to happen probably is Brian will be sending out an email closer to verification of final entries, where DMV lifters will be able to submit their walkout songs. I don't want to do a link, like have you send me a Spotify link, just because I don't trust some of you people. And I think I would like to search the music myself and make sure that it actually belongs at a weightlifting competition. But yeah, so there will be walkout music at WSO Championships, or we're going to try to do the walkout music at WSO Championships. And if it goes well, then great. And if not, we don't have to talk about it ever again because I'll probably forget about it.
No, I won't though. If it's a failure, I'm definitely gonna bring it up. We're gonna really hot wash it on the following episode. Don't you worry. I'll never forget.
Great,
Um,
sounds good.
Logistical question: will people only be able to choose one song that will be
Yes.
played 6 times, or do they get to
Yep.
choose 6 different songs?
Nope. One
No.
song, 6 times. Choose wisely.
Wow. But like, the vibe you need for your opener is a very different vibe than you need on your third attempt, especially like we should have people just send you. I shouldn't say us because I'm definitely not involved in this. We should send like a dozen songs each, and then you have the responsibility of choosing.
Of
Okay,
picking the best
which of these
ones.
songs does this person need right now?
It's too much work for me. Absolutely not.
It sounds like a
Too
great
much
idea.
work. I don't care that much about walkout music to do that. That's way too much effort.
I care about this idea, but not that much.
But not that much. There's limits. There are limits.
All right. Well, everyone choose wisely.
Yep.
Um, okay.
I got some
What
interesting walkout songs sent to me the other day. I'm
was this
trying
in
to think of
regard to the poll that you had this week?
last week. I had the poll last
Last week,
week.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Um, I was surprised actually how many people said no, they don't want walkout music. I'm not going to dox anybody. Snitches get stitches. Just once again, know that I know. But I was really surprised how many people voted no, and then like messaged in like it's a little too much. I can't do it. Just because of how many times I get the feedback of like, no, I want walkout music so bad. That would be so cool. So
It's
I
almost
didn't realize there were a lot of naysayers out there.
it's almost as if our DMV weightlifting page largely exists in an echo chamber filled with like half a dozen people. It's almost like that.
Yeah, it literally is almost like that.
Okay, so if someone does not choose walkout music, is it just going to be like you screaming into the mic?
Well, I will be screaming into the mic regardless because
No, no,
you
I don't
guys
mean
know.
like encouraging things. I mean just
Oh,
literally, you're just going to scream, and like your options are walkout music or Abby hollers.
or I'm just gonna scream into the mic.
Abby's just going to be hollering like a feral beast.
No, that will not be happening. As you guys can probably hear, I lost my voice a few days ago, and it's still not recovered. So like,
I mean, your voice sounds exactly the same as it always does.
does it really?
Yes.
It feels different for me. It feels different for me, and that's really what matters. Um, But no one wants me to scream into the mic. No, we'll probably just have the regular background music that's playing if you don't select a walkout song.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any other WSO news you want to share?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Um, do we want to address the Instagram bit?
Yeah, let's address the
Yeah.
Instagram bit.
Um, some of you may have noticed that the Instagram logo has is not was not like the DMV logo over the weekend. It may have been somebody's face that you know very well. And I would like to first acknowledge that yes, I did commit to gaslighting the several of you that reached out to me about it. And you said what's going on, and I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I didn't change anything. And part two is it was Steve's idea. Steve controlled my hair, like grabbed my hair like Ratatouille style, and was pulling the strings.
Abby, the rumors are already out there. You don't need to be helping people out, all right, by saying wild shit like that. All right,
Like
here's
you're
what
Remy
actually
the rat from
happened.
Ratatouille, and you just pull the strings.
Here's what actually happened. Abby was lifting on Friday night,
I
and
was.
she was going for a heavy clean and jerk,
I
and
did.
but it was not that attempt, right? It was like a couple
Correct.
attempts before it, and you sent me the face you made. I don't know. Was that mid lift as you were re-racking? What was happening there?
So what was happening was I was doing split jerks out of the rack after the heavy snatches I did. And like after my like it was multiple reps, so I was having to re-rack. um and on the last one, instead of re-racking to my front rack, because sometimes that bothers my elbow, I was re-racking behind me, which terrifying. I hate re-racking behind, but once again, I gotta do what I gotta do for everyone's favorite podcast host. um
Co-host.
yeah, podcast co-host, yes. um and so I was re-racking behind me. It was like 70 kilos. And you know when you like kind of miss when you're re-racking behind and the bar like starts to slide down your shoulders
Yeah.
and like yank you with it? It started to do that and it scared me. And so I made a face. But I saved it. So like I made this face. That was like, and I did take a screenshot and I sent it to Steve and Christopher, which was, first of all, my first mistake was sending it to Steve because Steve immediately encouraged me to, like, it didn't even react to the photo. He just said, make that the DMV Instagram profile picture. And I said, okay, bet. Um, Christopher proceeded to make 7 different memes. I've been memed. So like Uno reverse card, the memes were sent to me instead of me providing the memes to the DMV community. And those memes will not get posted. They will live. They're now forbidden memes. I have a lot of forbidden memes.
One day, Brian and I are going to hack into the account, and we're just going to start
Well,
posting
no,
all of these.
oh no, absolutely not. And you,
How will you
well,
stop us? This is how hacking works. This is why it's effective.
but I have the forbidden memes on my phone. How
But
are you going to get?
Chris sent them to you.
Oh, so you would go to him. I
Uh-huh.
don't think he would send them to you.
Do you? Or don't you, I guess, is the don't you?
If I asked him not to, I bet he would not
What if
send
you
them
already,
to you. Huh?
here's your big problem. What if he already has?
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Has he?
You never
No.
know.
This
Or
is
maybe
the
one day
first
you
you're
will.
finding out about these. You're just being manipulative.
I would never. All right. Well, hopefully we leave that up for a long time, or at least until Brian gets back from vacation and shuts us down forever. Um, but until then, a couple of events coming up in the local DMV area. We'll go we'll go the one furthest away to the one closest. The Just Strong Open, which is hosted by DC Weightlifting. They just announced their annual fall meet. That's going to be November 16th. Sign up for that as live. You can sign up there. East Coast Gold is also hosting their annual fall meet. That's going to be October 18th. Abby, you going to either or both of those meets?
I'm definitely going to Fall Brawl.
Cool.
Just Strong Open. I would like to go if possible to volunteer, but a little too far out for me to commit one way or another.
Okay. And then the one nearest, which Abby and I and Chris will be at, is the Westminster Barbells and Brews event. That's going to be August 23rd, which is what, like 10 days ish after this episode posts.
Yeah, something
Chris.
like that.
Chris will be competing, and I will be cosplaying as a weightlifter that day. They're going to let me take 6 attempts, and who knows what's going to happen. Because as I discussed on the last episode, I am currently doing small off, which is a back squat program, but not doing it for back squat. I'm doing it for front squat and for strict press. And you want to know who's in lots of pain right now? This guy. Am I making any adjustments to be intelligent about this? Absolutely not. We're gonna see what happens. It'll be what's the worst that could happen? Paralysis. That's the worst that could happen. But short of that, it's probably gonna be fine.
It's probably
And
fine.
probably gonna be fine. So if and also for that Westminster meet, if anybody wants to join, it's gonna be a good time. They're gonna have a cookout barbecue kind of thing afterwards, and the signups is still open. So if you want to compete, you can do that. If you just want to come hang out, you can do that too. But you can also I don't know, boo and hiss while I take my 6 attempts.
That would
Anything's
be mean. Actually, if anyone boos and hisses at Steve, you will have consequences to face because
ooh,
that's just not nice. And I would not be
I'm
happy if
inviting
I
it.
saw somebody do that. If I saw somebody like seriously booing, um, you or like any of my friends, I would be very upset.
I would giggle. I would think that
I
shit
just
would be
got so
hilarious.
serious there for a second. I didn't like that you said that.
Those are the local events that we've got coming up. I'm sure as the fall goes on, we will have more. Also, in our next episode, we're going to be previewing American Open Series 2, which will be in Fort Worth again. And we will, there'll be lots of folks from the area going out there. We will preview that in more detail. On the next episode. One more thing before we get to Pedro's interview was a topic that Abby and I were discussing earlier this week. There was another lifter from not from our area who posted something on Instagram. I think is Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And his take was essentially like the world was better back when I don't know, Michael Jordan was dominating and also Kobe Bryant and Tom Brady. His point was these people were obsessed with winning and that we need to get back to obsessing about winning because I guess the inference is that's the only thing or the most important thing, the thing that matters most. And I think at the end he made a comment that sports as we know it will implode if we don't get back to that. I believe is how that video ended. And he also was dismissive about the idea of just trying your best. Abby, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch the whole video, so I didn't see the
Thank you for doing your homework. It was 16 seconds long.
well, mostly because I got really kind of stuck on, the first point that Steve pointed out, the take being about sports were more competitive when people were more competitive and um while I'm a very competitive person, we've talked about how I'm very competitive with myself. Beth Lamoureux was on here and she was talking about being competitive with herself. And so, it's not that I don't think I'm a competitive person. I just think being competitive can look a lot of different ways. I don't think it has to mean being obsessed with, winning or being obsessed with beating the person next to me. In fact, I love being able to go to the gym and compete with my program and to be pushed by my teammates, my training partners. And, I think that's a very fun environment to be in. But at the end of the day, if I walked out of the gym feeling any malice towards teammates or malice towards myself because I didn't win, for the day, I wasn't the best in the gym for the day, I think I would be making some mistakes and I think I wouldn't love weightlifting the way that I do. And so my take on it is that, you know, I think I think there should be a limit to being competitive from a quality of life standpoint. Would sports be more competitive if people were more competitive with one another? Maybe. And we had an icon like Michael Jordan, but I think for vast majority of the population, specifically in weightlifting, I don't know if the healthiest take for, personal longevity in the sport and just longevity of the sport as a recreational thing. So hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but that was my take based on the video.
Yeah, that seems like a well-adjusted take, and mine falls along similar lines. I guess for me it boils down to like, why do we do sports? And I think for an overwhelming majority of people, children, people, whoever's doing the sport, um, I just like I think that his point is true for like a small segment of people. If you're at the top rung, right? Like you are in the NBA, you are in Major League Baseball, the NFL, the Olympics,
When you get
you know,
paid, when you're
like
getting paid.
I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I mean, I guess, yeah, even today, I guess for weightlifting athletes who are at that level, yeah, you're getting paid something, but like they're not certainly not getting paid like
But
NFL,
they're
MLB
but
money
they're
or anything
making
close
a
to it.
living, like I guess
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
that's your primary source of income. But anyway,
Sure. Yeah, fine. For anybody who's getting paid, I guess. Like, yeah, if you, it's understandable to me that you would be a little bit more obsessive about winning because it is your livelihood. I get that. Um, but like, we're talking like less than a percentage of people who do sports in the world or in the country. Like it's just not a big group of people, and I don't see the utility in all of the rest of us being as obsessive about winning as those people are. And so I guess the counter argument is, well, how do you get to that level if you don't have that level of obsessiveness? And I don't. I'm just not sold that that's what it takes to get to that level. I think that it has a lot to do with uh, genetics, work ethic, how long you've been in the sport, the quality of your
nutrition,
coaching.
yeah.
Sure, the quality of your coaching, the quality of your practice, your nutrition, your sleep, like a bunch of things factor into you getting to that level. And then once you're at that level, like sure, if you need to be like 100% in it at all times to maximize your potential, to make as much as you can, or to go as far as you can go, cool. But like, I just like I don't know how beneficial it is to tell a bunch of high school kids like the only thing that matters or the most important thing that matters is winning. I would hope that we would be teaching high school age kids like that there are many values and reasons, good reasons to participate in sports, and that winning can be one of them, but is certainly not the only one, and that there are so many other, I would argue, more valuable lessons and reasons to do sports than just to like dominate the field or beat whoever at whatever. I just like, and I don't know that like putting an emphasis on having a winning attitude, trying your best, like all those things may sound soft, but I think I would argue make for a better, more accepting society, which I would hope is really what we're looking at or trying for. But I don't know. Maybe I've lost my edge. Abby, is that true? Have I lost my edge?
We do call our show Soft Elbows for a
Yeah.
reason.
What if I feel like this show would have a much different vibe if we called it Hard Elbows?
Well, have you ever seen there is one
No
person that like
mercy. We're just we're
is
just we're
they're
just
in our
cutthroat all
comments
the time.
sometimes like hard elbows like just once in a while on YouTube. It's really
Yes,
funny.
our alter egos podcast, Hard Elbows, where we are only inviting Olympic champions. I don't care if you've been to the Olympics, unless you're like, it's just us and just like six people. And I don't. They probably wouldn't even respond to our emails. Do you think like who are we getting on that level? I'll reach out to I don't know, Tom Brady and see if he's got a half an hour to spend with us on our next episode of Hard Elbows,
If
since
Taylor
I guess
Swift
he's
didn't have time
the
for
gold
me, I don't
standard
think
for
Tom
what
Brady is
sports
going to have
should be.
time either.
What's that?
I said if Taylor Swift didn't have time for me to be on our podcast, then I don't think Tom Brady is going to have time for us either.
I think that's a safe
Taylor
bet.
Swift waved at me, Steve. She
She
waved at
did
me.
wave in your direction. That is true. She did wave in your direction. Anyway, maybe Abby, you can make a poll question out of this so people can tell me how wrong I am or how wrong we are, since we seem to be roughly on the same page
You're
here.
going to have to remind me, Steve.
I had
Remember,
no doubt. I had
goldfish.
I had zero doubt that I would have to remind you, but um, now. Everyone can remind you. Um, Abby, any other thoughts? Any other burning questions on your mind before we kick it to
You're
kick it
funny
to
for
our
thinking that there's any thoughts behind these eyes.
well, like it's like when you go fishing in a pond. Like sometimes you're like expecting to catch fish, but most of the time you're just like tossing it in there and just being like, man, this is a fun time to
Vote
spend
for
alone.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna transition over to our interview with Pedro Meloni. Again, Pedro's is such a good dude and had a lot of good thoughts, and hopefully can explain or help explain to folks kind of why things are done from a um, logistical standpoint in terms of the planning and the execution of the national events. Hopefully, you guys get something out of it. And 3, 2, 1, transition. All right, everybody. Our guest this week, our special guest, is the one and only Pedro Meloni. He is the director of sponsorship and events for USA Weightlifting. Pedro, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you so much for joining us, Pedro. I feel like you're one of those people behind the scenes that people like know of, but and maybe they've heard your name, but they don't like really know. One of the many people who like are responsible for a lot of things. We don't really know what you do. So if you just take a second, just kind of introduce yourself and kind of explain what your role is with USA Weightlifting.
Of course. The title is a little bit self-explanatory. So I deal with everything that involves the partnerships from with USA Weightlifting, all the corporate partnerships that we have, vendors on our competitions, the choice of events, the running of the events, the scheduling of the said events, qualifying totals, the technical committee, everything runs through me in the organization. Of course, we have a huge pool of volunteers and technical officials that help out with us, not to mention the loaders and all this, but I basically deal with that part of the business.
Okay, so when it comes to arranging, every year, I think we just recently got the email where it says, in 2026 the national events will be here, here, and here. You're kind of the one leading the charge of arranging how all that comes to be. I mean, I don't know how much people are interested in this, but I'm always curious with how kind of the sausage gets made. How intricate of a process is it kind of determining what sites are going to be considered, and then how does the process go from there, from narrowing it down to essentially ultimately deciding where we're going to have these national events?
Yeah, so it is an intricate process and involves meeting with all destinations and cities from anywhere between 18 and 12 months before those events, right? Like we try to release the calendar. We have been trying to release the calendar all at once now, but we've done it all shapes and forms before. Like once we had it, we released it. Now we're trying to release it all together. So the calendar was released once we got the final deal, the final ink dry on the paper, so we could send a calendar out, right? Basically, we meet with destinations anywhere between 5 and 6 times a year. And I'm talking 80, 100 destinations that we'll meet in conferences. There are conferences all around the US with sports commissions, with CVBs, visitors bureaus, and all that. I like to call them speed dating. So I sit down with every one of them and I talk to them like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And the cities are trying to sell their product, try to sell their product to us, and we're trying to sell our product to you, to the cities, right? So let's say I meet then in let's call it Colorado Springs, because we had 2 events there now, right? And we're gonna have a third one. Olympic City, USA, we sit down together and they say, hey, we want you in town because you're going to generate X the amount of dollars here in tourism, because we predict your attendees will book X amount of rooms, Y number of rental cars, and you're going to eat at our restaurants that generates tax revenue to the city, right? USA Weightlifting value proposition is, hey, here's these amount of people that are coming. We need to see if there's an accessible airport nearby. We need to see how much of the membership will be able to drive, how much of the membership will fly. All that kind of stuff goes into consideration. The other thing that is a huge part of it is how much local support we have from clubs.
Sure.
So do we have anyone nearby that can provide the help with loaders, right, and setup, and all this. As an NGB, we rely, as every other sport, we rely heavily on volunteers to make the sport work. And this is a community, right? We make the sport work like this. And the other part for us too, as I said, is identifying the flights and drivability. And the final part is how many meets we had in this region in the past. Is it time for us to share the love? Is it time for us to go somewhere else in the country to give the opportunity for other members to be easier for them to access that city, right? If you remember, prior to last year, we still haven't tried multi-year deals with cities, right? And this is the first time that we do it. We're getting some feedback on that. It's a mixed bag. Colorado Springs seems to be a big one. Texas is also a big part for us because of how many members we have there, but that's basically how the process is.
I'm curious, and you mentioned the feedback so far has been kind of a mixed bag. What are is people saying on either end of the spectrum there?
Well, let me start with the feedback that is like we want to go to different places, right? It's the one that is families use the sport as a tool also to go check something else out. Sure. Right. So we have clubs and people that enjoy the ability to be able to, I'll go to Pittsburgh because I want to go check out Pittsburgh. That's not a city that I would normally go. Sure. Right. There's national championships there. So I'll take my kid there for youth nationals and we're going to check out Pittsburgh, So that's one of the sides. And the other side is, well, it's a known venue. We get to know what we're dealing with. It's better overall because you know what to expect. Right. And if you look at the sports world, you will see both. I mean, there's many ways to skin a cat, right? So you can look at wrestling and see that they have been in Fargo for 20 years, for their national championships. And you can look somewhere else. And as you could look at USA weightlifting in 2024 and go like, whoa, every single year you go to a different city, right? It certainly adds complexity, but having it in the same city doesn't eliminate complexity at all. So for us, we'll see how we proceed after the squad.
And it may be too early for you to say definitively, but I'm curious. We've got the multi-year deals with Colorado Springs for nationals, for Fort Worth for AO2. Have you guys decided yet, like after this particular contract ends, will we for sure see nationals and or AO2 at different locations, or is it possible that it could just re-up essentially and we keep going back there?
Too early to decide that. This is year 2, right? Out of a 4-year commitment with Fort Worth specifically. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And Steve, lots of things happen in the meantime, right? Like you have change of bodyweight divisions. You have us going from 20 to 16 bodyweight divisions. You have the youth bodyweights being completely changed. And now the necessity of us, I believe, to look at those bodyweights again and see if we need to be aligned with the IWF on those on the 14, 15, and U13 and U11 side. So a lot of things happen that will impact how that decision is made, right? Maybe if we start noticing some fatigue on our members, we may maybe then that's a different perspective from our side, right? But as I said, there is a very strong argument to the side of, well, we liked it the first time, we'll like it again,
If it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah.
So when you have essentially the 4 primary national events, AO1, which is historically hosted in part with the Arnold, so it's people I think
5.
know. I'm sorry.
5 national events, right?
AO1 nationals, AO2, AO finals.
You're missing Masters in April.
And I am a Masters. You think I would?
There you go.
Pay more
Aren't
attention.
we all?
Okay, fair enough. I won't. I don't want to ruffle any feathers from our Masters members. But I guess what I was trying to get at, if people mostly expect that each year AO1 is going to be in Columbus in association with the Arnold, that's been true for many years now. And with the multi-year deals for nationals in Colorado Springs, AO2 in Fort Worth, does that change in any way the calculus for how you decide where Masters Nationals and AO finals are going to be, given that those are really the only two with flexibility. They're currently not the multi-year deal sites.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's basically what I say every time that I speak to Cleveland or I speak to Cincinnati or any of those cities nearby that are great cities, great destinations, right? I'm like, you have a very tough competition at in Columbus, because we are going back to Columbus as you noted on the calendar. The 2026 calendar has been released, and we're gonna do a repeat in Columbus. So we do try to avoid placing cities that are too close nearby, especially to like spread the love a little bit. If you look at our 2026 calendar, it's a little bit tighter than what I would prefer, but still you have Masters going from East Coast ish to West Coast ish, and you can reasonably expect to see it moving to either Central or East Coast back again in 2027. And the finals, you have us going from the West Coast ish to the East Coast proper, ish too, but you see how it goes. So on those other events that we have more mobility, we always have been trying to move them around and give opportunities to people to compete in different locations as well, right? Like grab finals. So I'll see if I remember from the top of my mind here, but 17 you had Anaheim, 18 I think that was Milwaukee, 19 Salt Lake City, 2020 online, 2021 Denver, 2022 where was 2022?
Gosh, I don't even remember. 2022. No, 2023 was Wilmington, right?
2023 Wilmington, 2024 Tucson,
right?
Arizona, and 2025 Daytona Beach. Where was 2022, Steve?
I don't know. Hold on. The internet is free. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
No, that's unfair. We can't.
I'm not above this. I don't.
you see, we go back and forth and on those everywhere, right? So it's that's how it goes. Atlanta,
of course.
Atlanta, that's
and
right.
You did it without the internet.
One of my favorite cities. Maybe that's why I forgot. It is. I love that venue in Atlanta. It's very convenient. I like to joke about how convenient it is, because like it takes you 10 minutes to go from your airplane to your hotel room, right?
Yeah.
But then if you want to go somewhere else, then it takes you another hour.
Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago the speed dating element of cities making their pitch, you making your pitch to those cities. I'm curious. 80 was a much larger number than I thought would be like in the realm of possibilities. Are there maybe you don't want to name the actual city, but I'm just curious, like, are there any I don't know, odd ways that cities will pitch themselves, like come here and we'll give you free fish fries or whatever, I don't know, like what are some of the things that you've heard the cities try to make their sell?
Absolutely. It's an interesting industry. The part that amazes me the most is the amount of like freebies and that I'm like, come on, are we really spending money on this? And it's like a bunch of like pens and not notebooks, computers, but like notepads, right? And I'm like, guys, I don't feel like we should be spending money on this and giving this every year to an NGB. Yeah. I'm like, I appreciate the thought, but like I can only use so many pens or stickers. But I think that the one I like the most, and I've heard it being told by different friends and colleagues in the industry, even before I started this job here, is there are cities that will come to you and say, hey, we're 1 day's drive of 90% of the US population. You go like 1 day's drive, and you look at the map, and they have literally like their city and like 19 hours drive to somewhere else. I'm like, well, Yeah.
and super convenient to sell to your
Correct.
members. Like you only have to drive 19 hours and
Correct.
you'll be right there.
Yeah, a good friend of mine is no longer with USA Weightlifting. Mike Conroy. He used to say that it's inconvenient for everybody. Thus, it's perfect.
Well, listen, if we're gonna make it inconvenient for everybody and therefore perfect, we got to start considering like Alaska. We got to start considering Hawaii. Like let's really like if we're gonna embrace that, let's really do it.
And I have to tell you, there is an element of thinking about that too. Like that can't be completely out of the realm of possibilities. I'm not saying that we're gonna do it, but I would be lying if I said that I have never spoke to Hawaii,
All right.
specifically to Honolulu or to Anchorage in Alaska. And different places. Puerto Rico is one that often comes to the table to talk to us. It would take something special for us to go, especially like the issue with weightlifting is weights, right?
Right.
So we have to. It's the bane of the sport is the weights, right? We have to pick them up. It's very heavy. The athletes demonstrate that constantly, right? And we have to travel around with all that weight. And really, jokes aside, weightlifting is beautiful. Jokes aside, it is the hurdles that we have with logistics are larger than most of the other sports.
Right.
Like we have to let around a bunch of equipment, and it's heavy, right? So if we need to do anything like Hawaii, Alaska, Puerto Rico, we need to find solutions for that are economically safe for the organization, right? Not to mention thinking about like how members will get to those places, because like I mean no disrespect to either any of those places, but there are fewer members there. Although Hawaii, we hosted the USA Weightlifting House in Hawaii, and we had all an amazing experience with the Hawaiians embracing us. And the WSO really stepped up at the time and helped out like in an immense amount with the setup. I'm not gonna name anyone like here. I'm not gonna single out anybody here because I know that I'm gonna forget names.
Yeah.
But people were incredible, and they really supported USA Weightlifting when we were there with helping setting up the training hall for the Olympians in Tokyo. It was amazing. So again, if this is all to say that we do not scratch none of those places from the conversation. I would go further to say that it would be easier to find us in one of those places than it would be to find us in a place that is not so iconic or doesn't have great access. And
Yeah.
like wouldn't it be cool to have like a September event in Alaska? I think it would be pretty great.
Yeah.
But how to get there, how much it would cost, it's everything needs to fall into place to make it happen.
Yeah, and you mentioned the logistics of setting up. I mean, the meets, and especially, I guess I wanted to ask you, logistically, how tall of a task is it to set up the way that you guys have structured Nationals Week, where it's not just senior nationals, it's multiple age groups, and that is an entire more than a week at this point of a continuous resource and energy suck. I don't mean that in a negative way, just like a literal, like it takes a lot. And not to mention volunteers, like how, I guess, arduous of a task is it to pull off nationals in the way that it has currently been structured for recent memory?
So what we did with Nationals Week was that in 2021 we merged all events coming out of COVID, right? Like we merged all events into one. 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. So it's been 9 days from the get-go on that one. So we had youth nationals that usually happen in June. We had junior nationals that usually happened in February, and we had nationals that happened in May, and we mesh it up in all at once. There were other NGBs doing the same even before we did that. USA Taekwondo comes to mind as one of those NGBs. As I said, like setting up the event is a big part for us. So it is a big part, and it consumes a lot of resources on that setup itself. Once the event is set up, then running the event has a lower cost than setting it up, low cost and overall resources, not only dollars, right? So that was one thing. The way that the event is set up now reflects that 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. Maybe there's an argument there to reduce times of days. We know that from senior nationals, for example, that you will have lower registrations than you have for youth nationals for sure, because of the qualifying totals and how we set up the qualifying totals. So maybe there is an argument for that as well. But yeah, volunteers wise, you mentioned we had, I'm trying to remember the number here, but I believe it was like just a little south of 1,000 volunteer positions.
Wow.
And I'm talking only technical officials for National Championships Week. It's a lot of people, and again, they're all volunteers. They're all there doing their best and helping the growth of the sport, right? So it's pretty awesome to watch.
You kind of mentioned something I guess I'm curious about, and is feedback that we got from some of our local weightlifters. I also talked to a couple of folks who aren't in our WSO, but with this year's nationals in particular, and I know it wasn't just this year's nationals, but it did stand out. Was you mentioned maybe the need to reduce it from 3 days to 2, and I'm curious. You may not always know how many people are going to sign up, but you always don't know how many people are going to sign up. And with senior nationals, it's even more challenging because as it should be, the bar is set high. So how many people will be able to sign up, whether they want to or not? And then once the structure is set, it's going to be 9 days. That is the plan. How much flexibility or adaptability do you guys have once the numbers finally come in and you say, okay, well, we didn't quite get as many people as we thought? Do you have the ability after that structure is in place to then say, okay, we're gonna tailor this down from 3 days to 2?
Some, but not much. There are a couple of things that we need to consider there, right? One, from the athlete's perspective, that they know that at this point, someone already knows that a plus 110 or a plus 86, they're going to compete on Sunday, right?
Okay.
So if we change that on people, it can be challenging, and moving one bodyweight division back pushes everything else because of the rules of the sport. We have to have lightweights competing before heavyweights, right? That's how the sport is structured.
Yeah, sure.
Until that rule is changed, and we have the ability to do that locally, right? I don't know if we would like to do that locally / nationally if we don't follow I don't know how much we want to depart ourselves from what the IWF does, right? That's my point.
Right.
But yes, we have the ability to move that. But once I move the super heavyweights to Saturday, then necessarily I'm going to have different divisions competing in different days as well. That may impact everyone's calendar. It's a little bit of a curveball onto everybody. The other point to this is how close to the game the preliminary schedule is released, right? And people always say, come on, you need to release a preliminary schedule earlier. And my response to that is that I would love to. However, that would be a complete work of fiction anywhere that we release a preliminary schedule without close of registrations, right? And I tell you why. It's, again, lightweight competes before heavyweight in weightlifting, period. That's the point. If I release a preliminary schedule, let's say January 1st, we release a preliminary schedule for our events, and it just so happens that in that particular event, 48 kilo women decide to register. Now you have a D group in the 48s that will push everything later into the game. Is that probable? Not really probable. Is that possible? Yes, that is possible. That may happen. Have it ever happened? No, we haven't. But in the realm of possibilities, yes, that is possible. And I'm talking about one bodyweight division in one age group. But yeah, it's been something that we've been thinking about in ways to optimize. There we circled the idea of like running super sessions, having our best lifters lifting in particular times to attract more people to watch, but that will then impact how medals are given, et cetera, et cetera. For now, well, actually, for 2025, we decided not to go with that.
And can you help folks understand? 'Cause one of the things that stood out to me from this year's nationals, on the Saturday, we had 3 stages, 3 platforms, but for most of Saturday, we were only using 2 of the 3 platforms. And again, I imagine that's because we just didn't have enough people to fill the 3 platforms. But then, we get to the Sunday, and the heavier weight classes are lifting, and it's I'm not telling you anything you don't already know and believe, but they worked really hard to get to that moment that, it's nationals for them too. And it's a day where most of the other lifters are using it as a travel day. They're starting to break down certain parts of the event and things like that. So I guess, what goes into the decision, I guess, to keep just 2 platforms running as opposed to trying to maybe adjust something to get, we can use that 3rd platform on the Saturday. We have fewer people lifting on Sunday. We get a better experience for more of the people that are lifting.
Yeah, the thing about Nationals Week is that from the get-go, Nationals only had 2 platforms, right? So if you remember from when at least from when I joined the organization, 2017, we hosted Lombard, 2 platforms. A year after that, again, 2 platforms. And that has been consistently what it is because of the number of registrations, right? Nationals will typically reach anywhere between 280 and 380 registrations, right? Okay. That spread between 3 days is enough to fill up 2 platforms. That 3rd platform is there because of the youth nationals that happened 6 days ago at that event, right? Okay. And of course, with junior nationals combined with U25s, that creates enough volume to have a 3rd platform going on. To if you go back to the national schedule, you will see that they too used the 3 platforms because their numbers were roughly on the 600 200 athletes a day divided by 3 platforms. That's roughly 60 something that fits into 6 sessions a day per platform there. So that's the reasoning on those 3 platforms. It's literally because they are already there, right? As for nationals, the other part of the argument here is times of lifting, Steve. So we try to avoid having our A sessions at nationals either too early or too late. So you will see that, for example, on Saturday, I don't believe we started until like 12 because we wanted the guys and gals to be weighing at 10, competing at 12. That would give us a better opportunity to attract folks to both the webcast and the in-venue and all that. Now, there is something that I absolutely agree. That is the heavyweight folks. They do get the short end of the stick on that one. Like it is to use the 2 champions as examples. Well, did Aaron compete? I don't know, but anyway, he competed at Pan Am's. So I'll use him as an example. It is unfortunate that Mary and Aaron Williams, they get to compete in a quote unquote emptier venue, right? People are traveling, people are not there to watch them anymore. That's just how it goes for them. On the same way, Hampton Morris gets to compete in the first day of the event, when if he's at the Arnold, then it's a Thursday, right? So that's the kind of stuff at weightlifting that I feel like we could do more if it wasn't for the stop point of the rule that we need to go light to heavy. And one of the reasons why the Rogue Strength stage is such a huge success. Of course, there are 10,000 people inside that room regardless anyway, right? But when you put the best athletes competing there, that creates an appealing moment, right?
Sure.
That's part of the sport.
If the 3rd stage you mentioned is primarily for the youth, the juniors, the groups that came before, is there any? Do you guys have you considered, or would you consider, just more fully utilizing that third stage for the senior nationals event and just trying to not even like after the registrations come in, but just from the outset, a year out, we're just going to say we're going to make this a 2-day, 3-platform event and just kind of maximize that the full time, even if that means, even if you guys don't decide to change the rule about, when weight classes have to go after and up.
And do like a Friday, Saturday thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that, especially with Colorado Springs. It's an idea. There, as I said, like the deal with Colorado Springs ends in 2026, and moving forward, we're gonna see where the chips fall on that one. I hope we can be back at Olympic City, USA. I think it makes complete sense. Maybe not for the complete Nationals Week. Maybe we change the format of Nationals Week. So we're constantly evaluating and receiving feedback. And I would be lying here if I said that we're absolutely locked on what we're going to do for the next 3-4 years. As I said, we receive the feedback from people. Part of the feedback on Nationals Week is, one, it's great that you, instead of traveling 5 times, you travel only once, right? Yeah. The other side of that feedback is that I am traveling to one place and I'm staying 11 days there.
Forever.
Right. So we got to strike the balance there for sure.
Pedro, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do want to make sure we ask you. You often, I'm sure, work with a local legend of ours, Michael Choi. He is, I don't know, too big for his britches as far as I'm concerned. So we try to knock him down a peg every time we get a guest on. Can you please, as a way of concluding this interview, tell us a funny story, perhaps something we can, multiple, anything we can dig up dirt on Mike Choi and kind of bring him back down to earth a little bit.
There you go. I love Mike, man. Mike's
great. He's the best.
Yeah. I'm going to have a hard time. I don't want to say how many times I legally choked Mike. So
wow.
I'm going to skip that. Mike was the competition secretary in Spokane in 2018, and we haven't worked together yet at that time, right? And I am as Brazilian as it gets. So I'm very calm. I'm very, very chill. And I don't think that me and Mike had ever got into work. Well, we haven't worked together at that point. It was Junior Nationals Spokane. We had like a snowstorm the day of the load in, and it was chaos. Like, it was February in Spokane. We were unloading the truck, and there was, I don't know, 3 feet of snow on the floor. And Mike is absolutely agonizing about like the time and what it's gonna be. I'm like, Mike, easy, bud. It's gonna be all right. We got this, no problem. It's gonna be okay. He's like, but the sign up sheet, we still need to work on this, and that. I was like, I got it. We got it. We have time. We did have time, and everything worked out great. But it was just one of those stories. I do want to tell another one though.
Please.
We may have ordered too much food for all of us in Turkmenistan when he was working at Ashgabat. Okay. And I must tell you, that man, he can handle food.
I concur with that. As someone who's picked his brain over many lunches, that man can eat. I don't think I've ever gone to lunch with him, and he hasn't gotten seconds of whatever it was we were eating. Well, Pedro, thank you so much for chatting with us. I don't know how often you're in the DMV, but we would love to have you back. We're having WSOs in September. If you want to come make a guest appearance, we'd love to have you there. But either way, we really appreciate your time. Any final thoughts, final questions for me, anything?
No, I was there last year for your WSO championships.
Oh, I remember. I said, I want you to come back.
Yeah, in April, it was great. We had the opportunity to see on site the current system that we now use for our national events. It was great, and I love what you guys are doing there, and you guys are unbelievable, and you're doing an awesome job there too.
We had JP on the show earlier in the year, and I asked him which was his favorite WSO and why was it the DMV WSO. So I'll pose the same question to you. I don't know if I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but which one is your favorite and why is it us?
Well, you had me over when it was cherry season, so I saw the cherry flowers. I'll say this.
We'll take what we can get. All right, Pedro, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you, man.